So good morning to everyone. Do you hear me? Do you see me?
Yes, we do. We
So
do.
good morning. I hope to see many of you next week in Yerushalayim. I still am waiting to hear from Reb Shlomo whether we have our Sunday Yarchikala next week or maybe we are Yotzi Yedei Choiva with a Monday Yarchikala. We'll see. But today our sugya is Shalosh Seudos and Chivu Yesero Yesh when we're oisik in sugyas that are so relevant. And this is a mitzvah cheshuva. We all have the schus and the opportunity to be mekayim every Shabbos Kodesh. So as we will see in today's shir, there was somewhat more kulas Shalosh Seudos than the other Seudos. However, in Chassidus, in Kabbalah, Shalosh Seudos tops the entire Shabbos. And in Zayar, Shalosh Seudos is called Idan Ravo de Ravan. Ravo in Aramaic is Rotzoin. So Shalosh Seudos is Rotzoin Sheberotzoin. In other words, Rachamim Sheberachamim. So by Chassidim, Shalosh Seudos was the climax of the entire Shabbos. And generally speaking, one of the Chassidish ideas, not only regarding Shabbos, but Yom Kippur, Ne'ilah is considered the climax. And when the entire community gets up, B'tzei Sayoim HaKodesh, and they all shout at the top of their lungs, Kabbalah Sol Malchus Shemayim, Hashem Hu Elohikim, Shemayim Sol Hashem Elokeinu Shem Echad. That's a climax. Be'ez Ne'ilah Shar. And the same Shabbos, Rav de Ravin is Rotzin Sheberotzin, Rachamim Sheberachamim. So today we will be discussing the sugya of Shalosh Seudos b'Shabbos. And when we embark on this journey, we're talking about Shalosh Seudos. There's a difference between Shalosh Seudos and Shalosh Seudos. So the beginning of the shir, we deal about the general chiyuv to eat 3 Seudos every Shabbos. When is there a certain designated time for Suda number 1, Suda number 2, Suda number 3? And then we will focus more specifically on what we call Shalosh Seudos, not Shalosh Seudos, 1, 2, and 3, but rather Seuda Shalishus. So let's embark on our journey. We start off with the Gemara Shabbos Daf Kuf Yud Zayin Omid Beis. Tona Rabbanon Kama Seudos Chayv U'Melecha B'Shabbos Shalosh Reb Chidka Omer Arba Ve'ein Halocha K'Rav Chidka. Omer Reb Yochanan Shneim Mikru Echad Dorshu. And those are the psukim that we read in last Shabbos. V'yoyim Moshe Hu Hayoyim Ki Shabbos Hayoyim L'Hashem Hayoyim Lo Timtzeuhu Besudom. So we have 3 times the word Hayoyim. Besides Leil Shabbos, so 3 Seudos, that is halacha l'maisa ve'ein halacha Rav Chidka. Is this a dioraisa or a derabbanan? So the Gemara learns this halacha from 3 times that in Parshas Aman we find the word Hayoyim. Yesh oimrim min haTorah, and that is the opinion of the Levush. I think we have the Levush on the screen, but instead of going to the Levush, let's go just over the page. Kuf Yud Ches Amud Aleph. Kuf Yud Ches Amud Aleph back to the previous page. Back. Here we are. Towards the bottom of the page, we see what a great mitzvah is Shalosh Seudos. Bottom of the page, Kuf Yud Ches Amud Aleph, towards the bottom of the page. Here we are. Omer B'Shuv Levi B'Mishum Bar Kapora. Kol HaMekayim Shalosh Seudos B'Shabbos Nitzal Shalosh Paranot. Chem L'Shom Netziach. Dinoi Shel Gehenim. Melchemes Goy Gemogoy. Gam the Gemara darshans, drushes. So we could appreciate how important this Shalosh Seudos. 3 Seudos keneged Shalosh Minoi Paranos. Let's go down, scroll down to the Tur, to the Shulchan Aruch, and Siman Reish Tzadik Aleph. Reish Tzadik Aleph, Yehi Zoyem Oid Lakayim Seudah Shalishes. V'afam Usaveya. Yochel Lakayim Oiso. If he has difficulty eating pas, Afam Usaveya. Yochel HaKayim Oisa b'kebeitza ve'emiyach shalei klal echol enu chayav l'tzaylas atzmai. Okay. V'achochem enu b'yoisoi shelo yamala bitnoi b'seudos habayker kedei litmokoim l'seudah shlishes. So the Mechaber starts off this halacha, Yehei Zohir Ma'oid. Let's have a look at the Mishnah Brura. Yehei Zohir Ma'oid. And the beginning of the siman, Kedeisa beGemara, Chayav v'Gemalach al Shalosh Seudos b'Shabbos v'asmachu akra. V'chsevi yoyim ha'Moshe achru hayoyim. So the Mishnah Brura maintains it's not a diuraisa, it's an asmach. Afar piken, because Chazal say Nitzel me'gimer mida peronios havizor ma'oy. Maybe we could have a look at the Tur. Levush Oruch HaShulchan. I saw we have these sources, but I think we need to scroll down a bit. So here we have the Levush. Yehizor Moed L'Kayim Seudah Shlishes V'hi Min HaTorah Gam Kein Shekein Darsho Midach Siv Klosasim L'Hayoim B'Posek Echad. So the Levush maintains we're dealing with the Diuraisa Lo Kedivrei HaMishnah Brura. Aruch HaShulchan, it's very interesting. The Aruch HaShulchan wasn't a Chassid. He was the Rav of Nevardok. But this is somewhat Chassidish sentiment. So let's have a look at the Aruch HaShulchan, the very first Sifrei Tzadik Aleph. Yehizor Moed L'Kayim Seudah Shlishes. V'yomer Chazal, Kol HaMekayim Seudah Gimel, Nitzal Mishonesh Paronios. V'alevis kosov shemen ha'Torah. K'dechsev tlosa hayoyim. Ve'im efshar she'einoi mamish min ha'Torah, mekol mokom vadai metkones Moshe Rabbeinu hem, shekein kibel misinai. Ve'hem ramzim neged gimel avos, neged Torah neviim v'ksuvim, abishah sheniten lehem aman, niten lehem Al Gimel Seudos Kilisem B'Mechel Teshevi Kanatu. V'Tevorim Gedolim V'Neroim Tluyim B'Gimel Seudos Elu U'Mevorim B'Zohar B'Kama Mekoymes. This is an unusual expression from a Litvish Gadol. Tevorim Gedolim V'Neroim Tluyim B'Gimel Seudos, quoting the Zohar B'Kama Mekoymes. Keneged Gimel Aves Oilam Avrom Yitzchak Yankev Keneged Torah Neviim V'Ksuvim. It's a bit strange. Tekonas Moshe Rabbeinu. Where did he pick this up that it's Tekonas Moshe Rabbeinu? Wo steht? And what do you mean Sheken Kibel Mesinai? Usually, when we write Kibel Mesinai, that's Aloha Moshe Mesinai. Where did he find the source? This entire seif in Aruch HaShulchan niflois hi be'einai. Either it's midrabanan, and it's just an asmachta. It would be like any other drabanan. Chachmei HaMishnah, Anshe Knesset Gdoila. Where do we find that it's Tkonas Moshe Rabbeinu? And what does it mean? Kibel Mesinai? Ain't any of there. So according to the Levush, Men HaTorah, Droshi Gemura. Most of the Achronim maintain like the Mishnah Brura and Asmachta. Aruch HaShulchan is very, very interesting. somewhere in the middle. Even if it's not mamish min haTorah, vadei tkos Moshe Rabbeinu. I don't think we find anywhere that Moshe Rabbeinu was metakan Shalosh Seudos. We learn it from the pasuk, but that's the nature of a smachta. That's the nature of an asmachta. It's not a drosha gemura. So min haTorah, the 3 times hayoim don't allude to Shalosh Seudos. So the Aruch HaShulchan was always somewhat of a mystery to me. But anyway, Dvorim Gedolim V'Nerom Tluyim Shalosh Seudos, and therefore we really should be makbid on Shalosh Seudos b'Shabbos. One of the fundamental questions, and we have Tosfos right here on our page. Shalosh Seudos, does each of these 3 Seudos have a specific time? Or you could have 1, 2, 3, Shabbos morning, 8 o'clock Suda number 1, 9:30 Suda number 2, 11 o'clock Suda number 3, and you're 8 Shalosh Seudos. Or is there a certain time limit? I would prefer scrolling up, not down, going to the Rambam. The Rambam writes very, very clear. Here we are, Perek Lamed, Halacha Tes, and Halacha Yud. We start off with Halacha Tes. Chayav Adam Lechol Shalosh Seudos b'Shabbos. Achas Arves, Achas Shachas, Achas Mincha. וצורך לזור בשלוש סעודות אלו שלא יפחס מהן כלל. ואפילו הוא היה מספרנס מן הצדוק הסוד של שלוש. והם היה חוילה מרוב אכילו שהיו מסענת תומד, קודם של סעודות. חייב אדם לקבוע סעודה משלושתן על היין. Not many people are makbid in this halacha. It's not a Shulchan Aruch, but the Mishnah Berurah does bring it. And I'm makbid by Shalosh Seudos that we have in our shul. I drink a full cup of wine because chayav odam lekvoya seudosoi al hayayin. Most people are makbid to drink wine by Shalosh Seudos, but I am in shul. So the Rambam clearly writes, achas arves, achas shachres, achas mincha. Obviously, according to the Rambam, it's not min haTorah. It's not min haTorah because the Rambam doesn't bring it in Sefer Mitzvahs, he doesn't bring it in Minyan HaMitzvahs. But the Rambam clearly writes, each and every one of these 3 Seudos has a specific time. Before going back to the Tosfos in Pesachim, let's go through Halacha Yud, because soon, in another 15 minutes, we will focus on Halacha Yud. So Halacha Yud, the Rambam writes, Achilas bosa v'shtiyas yayin b'Shabbos oinegulo. V'ushiyah, yodoi maseges, ose l'kvoya suda, v'ose l'kvoya suda al yayin b'Shabbos u'b'Yom Tov, ובשעס בייס המדרש, אלא כך הוא מנהג צדיקים הראשונים. כך הוא מנהג הצדיקים הראשונים. And this is a very interesting expression, הצדיקים הראשונים. מספר על אדם בשעה ושחרס, ומוסף בבייס הכנסת, ויובל הבייס וייסד סעודה שנייה. That means the first Suda he had by night. After davening, everybody went home and ate a Suda, v'yelech l'beis hamedresh, Yikru v'yishna ad mincha, and nobody took an afternoon nap. That was not the minig of the tzaddikim harashonim. You finish Suda Shabbos, back to shul, Yikru v'yishna ad mincha, v'yispal al mincha, v'achakach yikva Suda shlishos al hayayin, v'yochel v'yishna ad mitzvah Shabbos. So the Rambam writes, Echad arves, Echad shachres, Echad mincha. But another halacha that is clear in the Rambam, Shalosh Seudos is after mincha. Okay, so now we scroll down to the Tosfos in Masechet Pesachim, Kuf Aleph Amud Aleph. Here we are. Ma shelo yoyu makped al Seudos Shabbos shelo lechol velo iner ki de perish v'kinteres hainu mishum שיוכלו לעשות למוחר Shalosh Seudos. Person could make Shalosh Seudos by day, and therefore there's no kapeda that you need a ner dafka for Seudos Shabbos. So Tosfos Psuchim writes, you could make Shalosh Seudos by day, and you do not necessarily need to eat the first Suda by night. Tshuva Sarosh, al sheshoaltu besuda shlishis im yochal asoyse miyad achas Suda shachas sheyavsik besuda v'yavorech. Could a person eat Suda number 2 and number 3? He doesn't speak about Suda number 1. 2 and 3 could eat them both in the morning, and he makes a hefsek. Ani Luis is Rabbi say noegin. V'chein ani noeg achareim. Kishenim shechasud shachas at sheva shoas shekvar egi ezman mincha shemafsikin sedos amavochim b'samazan v'not len yedayim. But only in the afternoon. Let's scroll down, and I think we have another Tosfos Shabbos Kuf Yud Ches. Do we have the Tosfos in Masechet Shabbos? Maybe we don't. No. So let's go back up. Tosfos Shabbos Kuf Yud Ches says, Shalosh Seudos needs to be after Mincha, like the rush we just saw. So there seems to be a contradiction in Tosfos.
We have the Tosfos Shabbos Kuf Yud Ches Amonal Divrei Maskil b'Mincha.
Right. Do we? I didn't see it on our sheet, but maybe we could have it directly.
We do have it. We have it on the sheet. Let's see. Where is it?
Here we are.
Yeah, right. The second page. Thank you.
Mekan mashmid zman achiles shlishis b'Shabbos min hamincha ve'lamala ve'lo ka'oisen shemechalkem suda shachas or mevarchim binatayim. So this coincides with the rush. And what I don't understand, why would there be a specific zman for suda shlishis and not for suda number 1? Would it be reasonable that you could eat 2 sudas in the morning and 1 in the afternoon? So the Rambam makes a lot of sense. Kedarkoi shel olam. Suda number 1 by night, Suda number 2 the morning, Suda number 3 b'mincha, m'sheshos ve'lamala. But if Tosfos Psuchim says you could eat all 3 sudas by day, so why does Suda Shlishis need to be in the afternoon? So the Halachas Gedolah says you can have 2 sudas in the morning, split the Suda Shachas, have them both in the morning. So obviously, according to the Halachas Gedolah, there is no specification when you need to eat. You need to eat Shalosh Seudos. Doesn't matter when. Rambam says night, morning, afternoon. Tosfos Psuchim says you could have all 3 by day, but Tosfos Shabbos says Shalosh Seudos need to be in the afternoon. And that's a big chiddush. You don't necessarily need to have Suda number 1 by night, but Suda number 3 needs to be in the afternoon, and that is somewhat of a chiddush. Now we have a machlokes. Let's go back to the Shulchan Aruch and Reish Tzadik Aleph. Shalosh Seudos before Mincha or after Mincha? Here we are. Zamano. Mishiagia Zaman Mincha, Sheshos Velamal, afternoon. Vemasa Koidem Lachen, Lo Kia Mitzvah Shudash Lishis, Ago. Yesham im do Selishtis Maim Bemincha Lamara B'Shabbos, the Aschos is Seven Shumas Lagena, Valken, Ein Lechel Sudash Lishis Ben Mincha Lamara, Veli Yocharisam, Koidem Mincha. That's the opinion of the Rosh. V'yesham Yosef Tevlis Pala Mincha Tchila, we saw that in the Rambam. Few minutes ago. So what is the essence of this machlokes? I don't think this machlokes is in the din of Shalosh Seudos. I think it's rather a machlokes in the din. Could we be kovei asuda before mincha? So the Ramo writes, yes, and therefore it's preferable to make Shalosh Seudos before mincha. But according to the Rambam, if you learn afternoon in shul, that means they daven mincha ketana. Because after the Suda in the morning, everybody went back to shul. The Yikro, the Yishna. And if you daven mincha ketana, you can't have a Suda gedola before mincha. And that is why the Rambam says first they daven mincha, and then they have Shalosh Seudos. It is not a din in Shalosh Seudos that it needs to be after mincha. No. It's merely because you can't have Shalosh Seudos before mincha. And when the Ramo writes, after before mincha, it is only because you can't drink water between mincha and marav. So this machlokes, whether Shalosh Seudos is before tefillas mincha or after tefillas mincha, has nothing to do with the halachas of Shalosh Seudos. It has more to do with technicalities. So according to Gedolei Ashkenaz, that there is an ekpeda not to drink water between mincha and marav, you can't have Shalosh Seudos because people drink by Shalosh Seudos. And therefore, you need to have Shalosh Seudos before mincha. But the Rambam, on the other hand, says we learn it the entire afternoon we're learning. And if you're learning Nidab mincha ketana, you can't have a Suda Gedolah before mincha ketana, and that is why you need to daven mincha earlier. So what I mean to explain is this machlokes before mincha or after mincha has nothing to do with the dinam of Shalosh Seudos. Rather, it has to do with technicalities. On one hand, the Rosh and the Toises that say you have Shalosh Seudos before mincha is because between mincha and marav you can't drink water. The neshamas go back to Gehenim. The Rambam, on the other hand, if you learn the entire afternoon, then you daven mincha ketana, you can't have a Suda before mincha. So these are halachas that have more to do with Suda and mincha technicalities, and the machlokes is not in the dinam of Shulchan Aruch. Reish Tzaddik Aleph Sif Vav. Could we scroll down and have another Sif in Shulchan Aruch? Noshim Chayavos Besuda Shlishis. And why is that? Two different interpretations. The Mordechai, Afen Hoyo Ba'oisei Hanes. Let's have a look at the Mishnah Brura at the bottom of the page. Noshim Chayavos B'Shalosh Seudos. The Lakol Melech the Shabbos is V'Yishoven. Kamo B'Reishana V'Oit Shegam En Hoyo B'Oisei Hanes. Number one is the Rashba. Number two is the Mordechai. Shatzin Beiseiza B'Shem HaPoiskim. So the Mordechai writes, Afenoi B'Yoisei Nes Shalman. The Rashba, Shabbos Kufid Zayin, and source of the Sug of Shalosh Seudos says, Kol Sheyeshna B'Shom Yeshna B'Zochar. And that includes all the mitzvahs, asay of Shabbos, including Shalosh Seudos. And I think these two tamim coincide with the question, is it min haTorah min derabanan? Sharei kvar kazvu hatoises b'psochim kuf ches, that the svor of Afen Hoyo B'Yoisei Hanes is only by mitzvahs derabanan. We do not find Afen Hoyo B'Yoisei Hanes. I apologize. I don't know why this happens to me lately. I'm just so negligent. I'm losing battery, so I need to change my position. Hopefully we'll have enough battery. So if we say, do you see me, my dear friends?
I think Rob is back to where he started, yes?
Yes, Rabbi, all is good.
Do you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect, Rabbi.
So if the mitzvah of Shalosh Seudos is midrabanan, Like we saw the Mishnah Berurah at the beginning of the Shir, then the reasoning of Afan Hoya Be'esenes is the right one. If it's Menat Torah, Kol Sheyeshnoi B'Shamo Yeshnoi B'Zochor. So I think the two different approaches to explain why Noshim Archaim and Shalosh Seudos coincide with the question, is it a mitzvah d'oraisa, or rather just a mitzvah d'Rabbanan? Reb Shlomo Kruger in Shalosh Seudos Elef L'chos Shlomo has a fascinating tshuva. So I think we spoke many times about Reb Shlomo Kruger. He was a phenomenal genius. He wrote more tshuvas than any other achroin, probably more svarim than any other achroin. He was the most prolific gadol. But sometimes his chedushim are merafsen igre. Reb Shlomo Kruger writes, Noshim didan are not makbid in Shalosh Seudos, which is a chiddush. I think they are. Could we scroll down? I think we have Reb Shlomo Kruger on our source sheet. Shalosh Seudos Elef L'chos Shlomo.
I don't have the page number.
Here we are. Here we are. Lama loy nagu anoshim b'lechem mishnah. Oh, he's not talking about Shalosh Seudos, he's talking about lechem mishnah, but it's the same. In the continuation of the tshuva, I think he deals with the Shalosh Seudos as well. So Reb Shlomo Kruger brings the two different reasons that we find in the Rishonim regarding Shalosh Seudos and lechem mishnah, either afen b'yosenes or kol sheyesem b'shama yeshnoi b'zochor. Let's scroll down and see the bottom, towards
Shalosh Seudos is at the end of the keta that Rav Mitzayim, right to the end. It brings the Taz in the Rav Tzaddik Aleph, all the way in the end. Very good. The last three lines here.
So Reb Shlomo Kruger, towards the end of the tshuva, says, well, it's a machlokes. According to some Rishonim, tzafen oisenes. Obviously, they don't maintain that kol sheyeshem b'soma yeshem b'socher includes all the mitzvahs asay. The others don't agree to afen oisenes, and therefore, it's like Kimli. So, which is a big pella because all of the Rishonim agree that Noshim are chayiv, Shalosh Seudos and lechem mishnah. And it's a sif in Shulchan Aruch. You see, in the paragraph we have on our screen, Aray kaimalon the yochaloim kimli pa poiskim bahai, velo kimli bahai. The concept of kimli is in Choshen Mishpat. What does that have to do with Orach Chaim, with Yehudeya? Everyone agrees that Noshim are chayiv. Very strange tshuva. But it's strange that Reb Shlomo Kruger says that in his day and age, Noshim weren't makbid on lechem mishnah. I think today, Noshim are makbid in all the halachas of Shabbos, lechem mishnah, Shalosh Seudos, everything. Let's go back to the question, what does one need to eat by Shalosh Seudos? Reish Tzadik Aleph Sif Hey. We need to scroll back up to the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch brings 4 different opinions. What is one required? Here we are. Here we are. Tzorach lasoyse bepas. Yesh oimrim sheyuchal lasoyse bekol machal ose b'shivas min hadagan. Could be mezonos. Yesh oimrim sheyuchal lasoyse b'devorim shemalafsem bepas kebose v'dogim, aval lo beperes. V'yesh oimrim afilu beperes yuchal lasoyse v'svora rishoyne ikar shetzorach lasoyse bepas. Elem ken useveya b'yoisar. 4 different shittas. Ikekes for the pas. Elem ken useveya b'yoisar. Then I'm all right. But Mokum Sheyev Shal Lechel Pas. Kigon B'Erev Pesach. Elohim Kenu Saveh B'Yosef. And what happens when he is Saveh B'Yosef? Could he be Yosef with Peiris? Or does the Shulchan Aruch only mean Mezainis? Let's have a look at Mishnah Brura. Let's have a look at the Mishnah Brura. Svara Rishoyne Ikara.
It's a Chav Gimel Chav Dal, right?
Yes.
Or you want to start a Chav Beis? Where does I want to begin?
Okay, let's have a look at Chav Beis. So, let's have a pass. The Alfin Shalosh Seudos and Shalosh Pomayim the Siv Gabaman. Man was pass. Yeshua Mashiach Rasoi Seiber Kol Chameshes Min Adogen Ulekol Yam Misam Nifro Pass Shtei Kikrois. Echad Mechameshes Minim Shemavor Chaleim Ezoines Tam Deyazi Kiven Dein Derech Lechel Sudish Lishus Letiyav Saga Barochi. וזה גם טעם שאר הדייס שמקילים בזה. אלא אם כן הוא שבע ביוסר, and then obviously he could be yoitze even with mina targima with peiros. The Rashba, Shabbos Kuf Yud Zayin, maintains that not only Shalosh Seudos, all the Seudos Shabbos passes only lechatchila, but b'diavad, person could be yoitze even with mina targima. That is a big chiddush that we find in the Rashba. Here we are. Kama Seudos chayv l'm lechel b'Shabbos. Chosev b'alarochas. The ein chiyuv Shabbos eila l'isem Shabbos eila b'mincha l'filu mafsik b'yemsa. No, that's the other Rashba we discussed before, that there is no specific time. Could we scroll down? I think I saw the Meiri towards the end of our sources. Down, down, down.
It's all the way at the end, Pesach. Matzah Rechel B'Shudah Shlishis, the last segment. There you go.
Here we are. Let's have a look at the Meiri. Masha b'yavnish yomti yefshe v'lo yechiles pas. Shema toshe v'lo b'sukkah b'matzah. Amrinu shechi v'lel alay shishon. V'im kidvorech v'lo yefshe lechol pas v'lo sukkah. Yesh meforshim bezu sheshabbos v'yomtev din b'peiros. V'yafar pi she'ein b'em berches amos and efshe b'peiros shel shiva saminem. So the Meiri also brings an opinion. You could be yoitze all three Seudos Shabbos and not only Seudos Lishus with Shivas Haminim. Towards the end of this paragraph, he writes, Pirshu Achronei Rabbonim Seudos Lishus Ein Sichapas. And what he means, that is the Gemara with which we started off today's shir. We learn it from man, and man is pas. Sheboile haleket, mehechen onu lamedim sheyochal lepotra b'mina targima. So the Sheboile Leket brings a machlokes. First opinion is Yochel Odom Lifter Asam Shalosh Seudos Ba'achiles Bar Peres V'Mina Targima Kein Perish Rabbeinu Yeshayahu Goen Achar Uchiach Oisem Reisha. So he's dealing specifically with Shalosh Seudos. Shalosh Seudos. Yochal lifter asmo me Gimel Seudos b'mina targima v'chein matzusi shoyer Rabbeinu Yitzchak b'Rabbi Yehuda noyeg lahaslim Shalosh Seudos b'mina peiros v'ochi hasheni moyer Rabbi Yehuda b'Rabbi Binyamin. The Sheboile Leket quotes his brothers, one brother and the other. Makbid b'mina peiros של שבס המינים. יש נוהגים בסעודה שחרס, לפרוס מפה על השולחן, להפסיק בברכס המזון, ולחזור ולברך מיד המויצי, ולהשלים סידוסוי. That is the opinion, as we saw, of the halachas gedolos, with which most achronim disagree with. So the Shulchan Aruch writes 4 different opinions regarding Suda Shlishis. Everybody
goes further. I mean,
everybody
this was asked to the Chaloim through in this kata. It says that Rebbe allowed a breakup was asked to in the Shalosh of Tshuvas Min HaShamayim. This was such a sophisticated shadow. They have to ask a shadow of the Chaloim. It's here on the bottom.
Yes, so the Sefer Min HaShamayim is a very, very fascinating story. One of the Baalei Tosfos of Yaakov Memarvoish asked, "B'shalas Chaloim nistapaknu al hamilik shel hanog Shalosh Seudos lahafsik bebechas hamazon v'lachzor levorech, and al zeh she'alti em tov hamilik shel hanoyagim heshiva li askilchu ba'orchu dov hazeh metoras Moshe Rabbeinu lamadnu v'yoyim Moshe chlu hayoyim Shabbos hayoyim l'Hashem Ma yom mechalokim kach hashor shel gemasudas sichalias mechalokoi zu mizu." This Min HaShamayim l'chora would coincide with the opinion of the Rambam. It is very interesting why, as Reb Shlomo asked, was this so important as to ask a question Min HaShamayim? However, I have the Sefer at home. I don't know whether you actually looked up the Sefer. Many questions that we find in the Sefer are not necessarily the most fundamental questions in Yiddishkeit. Not all of them deal with Yesodas U'Emunah, with Yesodas Hadas. It is somewhat of a mystery, this Sefer. And a Minchas Osher, especially in the new version that came out last week, one of the last Simonim of HBrachos is about Chaloim, the significance of Chaloimus. And I quoted the Sefer Min HaShamayim, which from beginning to end is all Divrei Chaloimus. And I brought many, many sources from the Shoinim, Achroinim, starting off with Chazal, dealing with the significance of Chaloimus. I do not know what was the criteria, what type of questions they asked Min HaShamayim. I don't know. This entire Sefer is somewhat of a mystery. Only very few poskim quote the Sefer. I think many poskim disregarded its importance or significance, even though it is quoted by quite a few Gedolei Dois. And we just saw the Shabbat Aleket, one of the Rishonim, and he quotes the Sefer Min HaShamayim. So, bearing in mind what we saw at the beginning of the Shir, the Ochel Shulchan Weiss, Dvorim Gedolim v'Noroim, depend on Shalosh Seudos k'mavur b'zoya v'kama mekomis. Maybe that would explain why the Rishonim saw it so important to ask this question Min HaShamayim. So if even the Litvak, the Ochel Shulchan writes, Dvorim Gedolim v'Noroim, depend on the mitzvah of Shalosh Seudos, then we might appreciate why this was so important as to ask Min HaShamayim. And obviously, Min HaShamayim, they disagreed with halachas gedolos, and the response that we find in Sefer Min HaShamayim coincides with the Rambam's opinion. Suda number 1 by night, Suda number 2 in the morning, and Suda number 3, Min HaMincha Ve'lemala. Okay, so we just made it, and do you still see me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have 2% battery. Obviously, we're at the end of the line. So I think we went through most of the sources. The only topic we did not discuss is after the shkia. Could we wash after the shkia?
Can we get that in 2%? Can we get that in?
Mishnah Berurah writes that the minig is lahakel, and Dafka the Chasidim Shulchan Aruch HaRav is against the minig to wash after the shkia. Okay, Reb Shlomo, we'll talk and have a beautiful day, all of you. I think we went through most of the story.
Left us there with a cliffhanger.